Boa tarde. Good afternoon. What's going on YouTube, bro? This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian, and I had a quick thought on where you are versus where you want to be and how you could possibly get there. I'm actually at work right now. Just had a break and I had something on my heart I just kind of wanted to share. This could be for you who are watching or somebody that you might know. If you think it's relevant, then you can share it. If not, then maybe I just got too much time on my hands, as I often have sometimes. Anyway, I was listening to an interview by a young man, and he said that he had a boring job, dead end, and everything that he had, hoped to get, he did certain numbers, and he realized that he could never get them where he was in his current position. So he quit the job and realized that, well, you know what, maybe I should go back. And so he tried to go back, but because of how he quit, the employer refused to rehire him. And so he said while he was sitting on his friend's couch, he looked at his surroundings and he realized, I don't want to be here. I really don't. I don't even want to go back to that job. I don't even want to be around these people because I feel like that there's so much more that I want to do and could be doing. More importantly, I'm equipped to actually do what I believe it is that I can do. So what he did was he said he got a face tattoo. And when the reporter asked him why he did that, he said, I got a face tattoo because I know by getting a face tattoo, I had completely removed myself from being anybody's employee because nobody would hire me. It's like a very, very large face tattoo. And he said that once he got that face tattoo, he realized I have literally stopped up the flow of going backwards or sideways. The only stream that I can go is one that would travel me, that I could travel upstream. And so that's what he did. And he said in the process of, he didn't know how he was going to do it. But what he did was he began to do what he believed that he was good at incrementally, little bit at a time, little bit by little bit. And he said in the process of doing that, one day, all the preparation that he did met the opportunity that he needed, and people began to recognize him. Now he said before he started to prepare, people thought he was crazy. People would jeer at him. And now the very people that used to look at him that would call him crazy for doing what he did, disfiguring his face, now that he's somebody, a celebrity or whatever, the very people who told him that he couldn't make it are cheering him on. But guess what? Those people are still where he left them. They're in the same situation. And I said all that to say this. I don't know what you might be doing. I don't know if you like what you're doing. I don't know if you have a desire to do something better than what you're doing. But I will say this. If your dreams don't make you nervous, they might just be good ideas. We've all had good ideas. Good ideas come and go. We don't write good ideas down because they're good ideas. But dreams are something that they wake us up in the middle of the night and we can't shake. I began, after watching that interview, I began to examine my own life. And it seems as though every time I made a decision to go forward, either inadvertently or purposely, I literally stopped up the flow of going backwards. I could no longer go backwards. I definitely couldn't go sideways. The only pathway that I could take was going forward. And even in the process of going forward, sometimes we look at the things that we did, the mistakes that we made, and if we learn from them, it's, even though they say hindsight is 20/20. I also heard this. We become wiser as we examine the mistakes that we make in the process of making them. Sometimes We can literally be doing stuff and realize that we're making a mistake. But we keep doing it thinking it's going to change things. It doesn't. But as we examine those things, as the opportunity presents itself again, then maybe we can make better decisions. You know, hindsight 2020, all that good stuff. But so I'm gonna talk about myself really quick. I remember when I was before I got the barbershop that I have. I was working at, I was a truck driver. I still have my CDLs. Don't use them, but I still have them. And the boss at that time said something to me, and he yelled at me. And of course, I wasn't disrespectful, but I told him he was angry because I was doing something that I was trained to do. The person who trained me to do it probably could have did a better job, but I mean, you know, you do what you're told to do, right? So that's what I did, and apparently it wasn't right. So he yelled at me, and I told him, I said, look, sir, you're not going to yell at me. I'm doing exactly what I was shown to do. I'm a man just like you. Apparently he didn't like that so much, so they let me work the entire week, and then they fired me on Friday. I had $136 in my pocket. That's all I had to my name. I was homeless, essentially, sleeping on my mom's floor, no pillow, sleeping on my mom's floor. And my mom and my dad, both of my parents loved me. We always had good relationships. But I didn't want to go back to my dad. Why? Because he wouldn't take me in? Yeah, he would have. But my dad showed me that a man figures things out. So I figured I'll do what I have to do. So I slept on my mom's floor for a month. And then, well, let me backtrack. When I got fired off that job, you know, didn't have anything, slept on my mom's floor, cut somebody's hair. They liked how I cut their hair, told me that there was a barbershop, that there was nobody working in, that I could rent the building, rent the space. And so I went in on a Wednesday, and from Wednesday to Saturday, I made more money in 4 days than I did in 2 weeks working for a company. Interestingly enough, when I would cut people's hair, after I would cut their hair and they would get in their cars in the parking lot and go home, I would have to walk to the bus stop, sometimes in the cold weather, sometimes in the rain, sometimes in the scorching weather, get on the bus, take the long commute to my mom's house, sleep on the floor, and then do it all over again. I had nothing. The only thing I had was my clothes. That was it. I had nothing. But I knew that and I was tempted to go try to get my job back, but I knew that I couldn't do it. I knew that it was something I'm supposed to do. I was better than what I realized this, that if I didn't wake up in the morning to fulfill my own dreams, somebody would hire me to fulfill theirs. And I didn't want to do that anymore. And it's no diss to anybody who's an employee. I don't have no problem with that. So I would go catch the bus to go sleep on the floor. And at one point in time, I was like, look, I've been at my mom's house for about a month. Then I went and slept on a buddy of mine. I slept on his floor. And I realized in the process of me working and saving money, after a month or so, after a month and a half, 2 months, I was able to get me my own apartment. And then I was able to get my own car. I think it was a 85 Camaro. I bought it from a friend's brother. And I was able to get back and forth to work. And of course, things have just constantly been going uphill, uphill, uphill. I was always doing my other business, pickles, but I since incorporated that. I ship them throughout the country, have them in some restaurants here and in Atlanta. So things are going well for me, and are only getting better. But I say that to say this. Sometimes in life, man, you have to realize what you want. And if you're not satisfied the way you are, you have to, sometimes life will stop the flow of going backwards. But you know what? It's so much easier if we do it ourselves. Sometimes we literally have to say, you know what? I'm going to do this. So there is no way that I can ever go back. I can only go forward. I remember even in dating, I was tired of dealing with people here in the U.S. No disrespect to women here in the U.S. It's just that I wanted something different. So what did I do? This might seem simple, but for me, this was a big step. I bought me a plane ticket because I knew in buying that plane ticket, I had to fulfill that. And so once I did that and went to Rio for the first time, or Brazil for the first time, I realized, you know what? The very idea, the very dream, the very things that I had learned about, the very culture that I had embraced online, I completely was smitten once I got there. And I realized things will never be the same again for me in regards to looking at people here the way I once saw them. And eventually end up marrying a Brazilian. Although I married her here, I end up marrying a Brazilian. Go figure, right? But my point is this. Sometimes it's a war. Going forward is a war because we're so comfortable where we are. And even when we take a step forward, if there's any apprehension, once we make that initial step forward, we'll quickly try to go back. It's like waging war. Sun Tzu in the book The Art of War, he said that the easiest way to the best way to defeat the enemy is to remove his ability to wage war. Sometimes we have to remove our ability to go backwards. So that way we can only go forwards, not sideways, but forward. So if you listen to this and you are getting off of work, or you're thinking about you got to go to work in the morning or do something in the morning, but then there's that dream there's something that just eats away. It takes pieces of your soul when you think about it. Do you know the only thing that you're required to do? The only thing that you're required to do is put it in the atmosphere, put it in the universe, put it in the natural. The only thing that you're required to do is do the possible. If it's an invention, do the possible. Start making something. And if you do that over if you string enough consistent moves of doing the possible, you're going to bump into this thing called opportunity. And you've already did the preparation by being consistent. And before you know it, life has changed for you. So just sharing those little words of wisdom. I don't know what I'm going to call this. I don't even know if it's going to be relevant to anybody, but I would just say this right here. If you're not satisfied where you are, you can change it. One day, one move at a time. You're only responsible for doing what you know to do. Opportunity will take care of the rest. This is your man Larry, the American Brazilian, saying até a próxima. I will see you on the next one. É verdade.